Hi folks, Debbie Ray here with a quick peek at my kitchen garden, which has been officially named the Slava Ukraini's Victory Garden. Thanks to the war in Ukraine, I bought the sign to support the people in my father's homeland. This garden has gotten off to a very slow start this year because we had cold and wet rain in the early spring, and then later in spring, scorching heat. I was also slow to get things started because I've been working on grad school studies. So it's not being maintained as well as I would like, but here it is. Raspberry bed, herbs and edible flowers bed, and across from it, strawberry bed, which is going to be rebuilt. So it now has lots of borage and kale taking over the strawberries. The brassicas bed with broccoli interplanted with kale and leeks, and have to show you the broccoli that's ready to harvest. And a mustard that's self-sowed, and I'm letting it go to seed. Speaking of brassicas, I put red cabbage at the corners of these beds this year. And this is the bikes bed. In front I've got a quadrant with Malabar spinach. I still have to put up poles for it to climb. And Swiss chard and dinosaur kale. Over on the bikes, behind the calendula, I am growing cucamelons, which will climb the bikes, a self-sown tomato here, and a winter-sown kohlrabi ready to harvest. The tomato beds are looking good as I recently pruned them before the rain. Interplanted between the tomatoes are celery, two between each pair of tomato plants, and then down the middle of these rows I have planted wax beans. And behind here, last two beds, I have Mrs. Green Beans. Her skirt is, as always, made up of climbing pole beans. And she's got zinnias that haven't bloomed yet on both sides of her. Lots of dill. And across the way in this bed are the rest of the climbing pole beans and some bush beans on the edge. Behind the beans is where in early spring I started snow peas. The earliest ones are already finished, but I am still getting some from the later fruiting varieties. I have to come out and harvest these. So, despite a slow start and a lot of neglect, the garden continues to grow. Thankful for that.